feel one another, be open to holding one another, be vulnerable with one another. And I feel like in this, you're slowly building the trust because you're slowly starting to hold them again. You know, you're feeling them.
Comfort.
Yeah.
Comfort back into a relationship. You're letting the person know that, you know, you're there for the person and you're going to always be there for the person. And, you know, you're being that strong individual that she wants to see you as. And, you know, or, you know, that teddy bear that she loves to cuddle with. They know, right? Yeah. They love to cuddle with.
But most importantly, holding them is reminding you that they're human and they're going to have a bunch of emotions as well after having this conversation. So it's like legit sometimes when John gets on my nerves, I'm just like holding his heart so I can remind myself like this heart is beating because it loves me kind of thing. Like he does not want to do me any harm. And I think that's also another thing that you guys can do with one another is spit some affirmations to one another. Baby, you are handsome. Your skin is just glowing. It is everything to me. You are the picture of a husband and everything that I always craved and wanted. You know, affirmations is legit like a simple hug like this. Relax.
Comfortable with, you know, basically innocence on your soul, then you're not prepared for a change and you're not prepared to get back with that person.
Because there's going to be so many growing pains. Like there's going to be moments where you're going to be throwing out a bunch of emotions and those emotions are going to hurt hearing it. It's like you're going to be seeing a reflection of the damage you've done, but you need to figure out where can I bring a solution to this damage? Like how can I bring more clarity back to the relationship? The trouble once again. Starting off
I felt that. You felt that?
I felt that. It was just what we needed to. What's up, 619 Nation? We're back again with another video.
So you know 619 won.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so today's video, we are having our social sit down, episode 2. Okay, in first episode, we explained that we were going to talk about earning someone's trust back after losing it. You know, you've been in a long relationship, you know, everything's been going perfectly fine, and next thing you know, things just go left. You know, you lose the trust, and you're wondering, okay, how do I get this person's trust back?
And in episode 1, we basically talked about how do we know that we can frame our minds around marriage? What kind of things and concepts do you have to really take into consideration? And I feel like now when we're talking about mending a relationship back to a place of love again, it's a lot of work. Well, basically you're breaking down old habits, old programming, things that you really need to like take into consideration, y'all. Like, I want to hurt you. I reel it back and be like, I want to hurt you, but I know where you're coming from. And it's because this give and take of anger and all these emotions are gonna somehow weigh you down in the process. You have to find a middle ground. So let's take our good friends, for example. They experienced a period of time of infidelity and they felt that everything will be fine if they just come back together, right? In coming back together, they felt that they can really mend the problem, which was the infidelity. But where one person was thinking about just the infidelity, the other person was thinking more about the emotions that were put into it and trying to wrap their mind around how did this happen. So if we are experiencing this, what advice would you give to this couple, both sides? Let's say both sides.
So I'm going to give examples first of how you can lose someone's trust. If you want to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously I feel like the number one example is cheating. Physically. Yeah. Physically cheating with another female while being in a relationship is like the number one thing you go through in losing someone's trust.
Yeah, and I feel like the next thing is the emotional cheating aspect. And I feel like that's where a lot of things variate when a lot of couples go back and forth in this scenario. On one hand, say from a woman's perspective, you have to really debunk why would my man cheat on me physically. Like, I can understand if I wasn't doing anything right, and that will be always the first statement. If I didn't do this right, this would have never happened to me. So I feel like in trying to earn someone's trust back, you have to validate that because you physically cheated, it was not their fault. It wasn't something, well, granted, it is something like that is lacking, but it's not to throw blame.
I feel like when you're physically cheating, it's more, cheating in general is less about, you know, the person that you're with, your significant other. At least 80%, 90% of the time, you know, or even 100% of the time, it's more of a insecurity thing of why you are cheating. Maybe 100% of the time. Well, 90. I don't know. It's more 90 because I do know people who cheating because, you know, their significant other aren't providing them, you know,
this expectation that they have,
or, you know, their sex, or the sex isn't just good enough, so they decide, you know, to go find it elsewhere.
To meet once again an expectation. I feel like when you set expectations in relationships, it's one thing to set a standard, but it's also another thing to set an expectation. An expectation to me is set in stone. If you cannot offer me this, it is not enough. When it can be a standard of, this is what I need, this is what I require, and this is a little bit more of what I probably fantasize about, but it, you know, explaining it as that instead of letting the person that you're with feel like, if you don't do this, then you're not enough for me. Because I feel like at that point now you're creating more of a barrier rather than trying to mend that fence, setback, so to say, right? That is this feeling of not being enough. And as John said, it leads to insecurities. And then those insecurities will then linger if you do choose to pursue with the relationship. So I feel like if you are thinking about finding a way to earn trust back, is trying to fix that one problem, providing them compliments, you know, feeding them with words of affirmation.
They don't know what to do. It's a roller coaster. They didn't know, you know, how to earn someone's trust back. First of all, go into details about how, you know, you lose someone's trust. It wasn't a physical thing, but it was more of a, you know, talking to other females and trying to be seen, trying to get attention by other people, being afraid of, you know, being in a committed relationship because they never been in one before with someone who's loving them the way that they are. So they are afraid that, you know, they are going to miss out on something, and so they are afraid that the person's going to do something before they do it because they're not used to this.
In this scenario, what advice would you give to this person to fix their relationship?
You go out and you do something terribly wrong, right? And now your significant other is not dealing with you no more. She doesn't want anything to do with you,
or he doesn't
want anything to do with you. The first thing that obviously you can do is just apologize. Explain to them that, you know, you made your mistake, and the first thing of recovery from drug addict is admitting to, you know, your problems or your mistakes. So admit to them and explain to them why you did what you did.
Like 9 times out of 10, like, you cannot be afraid to tell the truth because what they're asking of you is for the truth. And I feel like even in doing so, the admission is the first step, but 2, it's like, take accountability for the things that you've done as well. Don't feel like, okay, I'm just gonna apologize. That you're accepting full responsibility for the things that you've done and how it has now trickled into something else. And then ask, what can I do to better the relationship?
Then, on top of that, after you're apologizing and you telling them the truth, the first thing you want to do is just give them their space. You don't want to be all up on them. You don't want to be, you know, talking to them 24/7, wondering why this person is not responding back to your text messages, wondering why this person is not trying to hang out with you. Because the first thing you're doing, you're running them away. Right? So space is really important when trying to get back your significant other. You did your job by apologizing. You did your job by explaining to them why you did what you did.
And take this moment as a reflective thing.
first thing they are going to do is decide whether they want to get back with you, right? So now you're having a conversation with them. You're there for them 24/7 whenever you need them. You're showing them that you're putting in the effort, but you also, telling them, you feeding them emotionally that, you're there for them. You're going to be there for them 24/7. You promise that you never, listen, there's a lot of promises that you're going to have to make, and you have to keep up with these promises on why you will never do these things again.
And you have to make sure that you're coming from a place of honesty and of integrity as well. And just having like that moral compass that you're not going to do the things that you've done in the past because in all actuality you learned your lesson. I feel like this moment when you are separated, you need to take into account, okay, what led me to this situation? Like, what did I feel? What things occurred? Like, dissect back and try to figure out where can I go right if I admit to this, and maybe sharing your perspective on what was happening around the time you were separated or the infidelity did happen. I feel like when you can break that down and really and this is where accountability comes in, it's like you're offering the experience to them, you're offering to them to walk a mile in your shoes, in a sense. Let them feel where you are coming from. Listen without judgment is going to be crucial throughout this entire process, because if you are leading with pride, you're not going to feel the love that you are truly desiring for. And if you are only coming in with pride just to hear the story and not to mend things out, then I just feel like you guys are going to waste your time. And if you are dealing with someone like that and you feel like they're not taking the same initiatives as you going towards the same goal of trying to get back together, do not fall into the trap of, okay, we're working it out. Okay, I heard everything. And because I heard everything, I don't know how I feel. And you also have to take an accountability. This is a healing process. Healing is not linear. It's all over the place. And some days you're going to feel like you're healed. And then weeks later, you could feel like this emotion came up. And you need to figure out what are trigger points towards you and your significant other towards moving back from that place of infidelity.
I feel like rushing back into a relationship, you would never find out whether or not you were really prepared to be, in this relationship. Because the minute you rush, like she said, one moment, emotionally, you feel like this person is giving you everything you need, because during that moment, they're telling you everything that you wanted to hear in the beginning. Then the next moment, the person starts to change, and they never, not say never, they don't give you everything that you wanted. And you wondering like, okay, so how come in the beginning this person was feeding me or the fantasy, then the next moment this person wasn't feeding me the fantasy? So now this is the reason why you need to be patient and realize whether or not go with the flow, and whether or not this is perfect for you. The minute you say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna give this person a second chance, and that person doesn't go all in and he repeats everything he does again, the next thing you know, shame on you.
You also have to think about what is it that you're really looking for in this relationship. Like, this is where those standards come in now. Say, for example, a standard for love for us was, I need to feel like I am comforted with you. If I don't feel like I'm comforted with you, I'm going to feel like there's a boundary, there's a wall, and I'm going to now get defensive if I feel like I cannot be vulnerable and emotional with you. So that standard is, I need someone to be there for me. That standard is, I need someone to be there for me. Now, you're not setting the expectation that every time you call for them, they are comforting you. If you're kind of hurt, this is where you also have to take in your own strength and your accountability towards your actions now. But if you have set the standard of, this is what I need out of love. You did not do this for me before, so now I need you to come back and I need you to help me get to this level ground of love. So say, for example, in the cheating instant, say now a standard is you need to check in from wherever destination you're at. You have to let your significant other know that this is okay with me. I cannot do this moving forward. And in order to give you the security that we have lost, I'm willing to check in with you kind of thing, right?
And are you willing to check in multiple times?
Right.
1,000 times, nonstop. Are you willing to tell this person your every move? Because once you physically cheat, that's basically now it's like in the sense of
wandering.
you selling your soul to this person, and it's sad but true, because now this person is gonna wonder 24/7, what are you doing? Why are you not with it? Comfortable with, basically in the sense of selling your soul, then you're not prepared for a change, and you're not prepared to get back with that person,
because there's going to be so many growing pains. Like, there's going to be moments where you're going to be throwing out a bunch of emotions, and those emotions are going to hurt hearing it. It's like you're going to be seeing a reflection of the damage you've done, but you need to figure out, where can I bring a solution to this damage? Like, how can I bring more clarity back to the relationship?
Comfortable with, basically in the sense of selling your soul, then you're not prepared for a change, and you're not prepared to get back with that person,
because there's going to be so many growing pains. Like, there's going to be moments where you're going to be throwing out a bunch of emotions, and those emotions are going to hurt hearing it. It's like you're going to be seeing a reflection of the damage you've done, but you need to figure out, where can I bring a solution to this damage? Like, how can I bring more clarity back to the relationship? And in bringing this clarity, how can I now move forward to building a better picture than before?
When do you know it's the right time to go back to your significant other after,
I think that's a really, intense question in such, simple words. I feel like that you're meant to go back when you finally feel like you're not constantly wondering. You're starting to have fun again. You're starting to accept the individual as they are.
Once you've seen an individual change.
Yeah.
I feel like 9 times out of 10, the relationships that does work out is based off of whether the individual actually,
took one step,
and then took multiple steps, and then their actions match up with their words.
I agree. I feel like that's the main kicker for you. You're hearing these things, and in hearing them, the actions start coming, and then the actions start coming back. You start falling in love with the little things, and now it's like an engine. Things are starting to move. You're not constantly thinking about the negative outcome. You're more concerned about the positive outcome that you want to happen in the end, and it's that love aspect. It's to trust again. It's the oil moving towards what you originally have pictured, and it's in letting go. It's in falling back in love. It's in the actions of just being that you realize that this is the perfect time. Now, say we're not even that far yet. Say we're just in the little beginning stages. That the perfect time to go back, they're on your mind. You're kind of wondering, would I want to do this with you? I'm starting to think about actions or activities that I would rather do with you than do alone or do with anybody else. It's in those short remembrance that you kind of feel like you're kind of grabbing back to another. Or out, you're doing your own thing, and even while you're out with these individuals, they are on your mind. I think it's something to really consider.
Now you're back at the stage of where you're trying to, rekindle and rebuild that trust again. So you're going through your ups and downs. So now let's just say for months you guys were not with each other, and you decide to get back with each other, right? Because you feel like, there's nothing else and nobody else you'd rather be with but this person, all right?
Here are some activities that you guys can really do, right?
Yes.
So I think the first one is heart-to-hearts over food.
Yes.
Privately. Maybe making a dinner together.
Pillow talk. Late-night conversations.
Late-night conversations definitely do help. They really do uncover that vulnerability, and it's holding one another while you're talking. Mm-hmm. It's legit like a simple hug like this. Relax. Mm-hmm. Feel one another. Be open to holding one another. Be vulnerable with one another. And I feel like in this, you're slowly building the trust, because you're slowly starting to hold them again. You're feeling them.
Comfort. That comfort back into your relationship. You're letting the person know that, you're there for the person, and you're going to always be there for your person. Mm-hmm. And, you're being that strong individual that she wants to see you as, and, that teddy bear that she loves to cuddle with. They right? Yeah. They love to cuddle with.
But most importantly, Holding them is reminding you that they're human and they're going to have a bunch of emotions as well as you're having this conversation. So it's like legit sometimes when John gets on my nerves, I'm just like holding his heart so I can remind myself like this heart is beating because it loves me, kind of thing. Like he does not want to do me any harm. And I think that's also another thing that you guys can do with one another is spit some affirmations to one another. Baby, you are handsome. Your skin is just glowing. It is everything to me. You are the picture of a husband and everything that I always craved and wanted. You know, affirmations like that, that'll help build the relationship, build the trust, build your self-confidence, build the awareness between you two. So that's also a cute thing that you can do.
I feel like, going out on dates, going back out on dates and, having that fun that you had, once you first got into your relationship. The cupcake stage, yes. Just remind yourself, what were you doing in the beginning of your relationship, the cupcake stage, that, you're not doing now. Not saying that, okay, we have to go back and you have to do everything, but it's like, you want to have fun. So, taking each other out, doing different adventures and, showcasing why, this is the person you want to be with, and explain to the person, why you want to be with that person. And then, the long paragraphs are very important.
Yeah, the morning text.
The good morning text is very important. Good night text.
Random text in between the daytime.
Yes, sending the flowers is really important. The just buying the person, nice little outfits is really, really important.
It could be something
or even,
so simple.
Going to, card stores and, giving a card and expressing, why, you appreciate
you really
this
have
person.
this deep love, like you thank them for taking you back. It's a constant reassurance that's going to build the evolution of your love again.
So I feel like we touched on a lot of details, and these are a couple of things that you want to go through. Basically, the whole moral of the story is to just be patient, trust your significant other once they go through, your ups and downs, and, you're going to, go through ups and downs, but just,
embrace them for who they are, who they're growing to be. Embrace everything that they're trying to become for you, and just meet them at a nice, self forward with compassion. Remain humble in the process, because you have to remember, God forbid, if the roles were reversed, you would want them to meet you with compassion. You would want them to hear you out. You would want them to come to you with determination to really rebuild. And I feel like the process of rebuilding your love is starting with the compassion. It's starting with the feelings of being ready for a love partnership and coming for harmony. It's a 619 ting done. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to your favorite couple. And make sure that you hit that bell right next to the subscribe button so that you get notified every time your favorite couple posts videos like so. One love coming in right about now. Baby.